Greetings. This is Bradford Townsend, and this is a forward research report. The end of Chinese civilization. Unfortunately, this is an obituary on the Communist Chinese Republic, as it is no longer sustainable. They have made horrific mistakes. They have polluted China to a point where it is no longer habitable. The rivers of China are toxic waste dumps. Children in videos are seen swimming through algae plumes. There's heavy metals in the water that will take hundreds of years or thousands of years. The fish are unedible. The aquifers are poisoned. The mini ice age, which could be a full-blown ice age, is coming. Every time a mini ice age has hit China, it has been accompanied by a large decrease in precipitation, which has led to famine and hunger and an overthrow of the government. And this time it will be an order of magnitude, which means 10 times worse or 100 times worse than the horrific. It's unimaginable to anyone living today the past mini ice age catastrophes that have hit China. The reason it will be 100 times worse than the previous catastrophes that have hit China is that they have polluted their ecosystem with industrialization. They have driven up their population with industrialization and with hygiene, with sewer systems, that with modern medicine, and they're not going to be able to feed their populations, with hand washing and hygiene in hospitals, allowing more babies to survive childbirth, with sewer systems that reduces disease, with spraying mosquitoes, with keeping rat and flea populations down, and so many other things. The population of China is larger than the whole global population was less than 200 years ago. And with the climate changing, there's going to be earthquakes and volcanoes that accompany climate change due to the solar conditions changing. Without the sun's magnetic field protecting the earth, there will be massive volcanic eruptions, 9-point plus Richter scale earthquakes around the earth that will bring down bridges, that will prevent the movement of foodstuffs and raw materials around the globe, bringing down all types of infrastructure, further cooling the planet with volcanic ash. So all these things combined will probably cause the dams will break. The population of China will probably be reduced by over 90% in population within the next 30 to 40%. There will be a Mad Max zombie apocalypse situation with cannibalism being common. The Chinese will resort to eating one another. You have the racial strife. You have many different racial and religious and ethnic groups that have been brutally repressed within China, and these are in large numbers, in the tens of millions. It will only take a few geniuses within an ethnic group to be bitter, willing to do suicide attacks at key infrastructure points, or to learn to code, and maybe if they have a security clearance, or willing to kidnap a family member of someone and force them to take a thumb drive and put a worm program that crashes a major computer system within China to bring down a key government computer, that brings down a power grid or a defense grid or something, to cause mayhem on top of all their other problems. There's just several scenarios that they'll probably all come to pass. That's why 9 out of 10 of the elites in China that are the corrupt communist leaders or insiders are trying to get their children to Vancouver, Canada, or Sydney, Australia, or Christchurch, New Zealand, or somewhere safe, with their one child that they had, that are 100 millionaire, billionaire type people, to get them out of the country. They see these problems. If they are a hard-headed, left brain type person, they want to get their daughter or son out of there. They're trying to get them to be a professor of engineering or business or something, or get them to be a real estate developer, one of these other cities, and using their political clout and their money to pay bribes to get them out of the country, because they know these events are coming. And when, like I say, these are more certain than death and taxes. China is just simply doomed. The Central Intelligence Agency types, defense intelligence, naval intelligence, the British Ministry of Defense, the DGSE of France, they're not worried about China. China is an ally of or a vassal state of the West. They are trained, their military trains under and is subservient to the Western powers still. They're still a colony. They're not a threat. That's just propaganda for the Chinese to have more armaments, and for the West to be able to sell more armaments and to arm themselves more. The country is totally dysfunctional and in a financial basket case. It's a slave factory country that's totally polluted. If you have a chance to get out of China, whether you're there to teach English or you're Chinese and you speak English and you have a chance to see this video, I would flee the country. I would leave everything behind if you can only get out of there with the clothes on your back, and get out of the country as soon as you can, and get all the loved ones you can out of the country, because it's a sinking ship. I'm sorry, just as a humanitarian who cares about people, I felt I had to make this video. If I was the captain of a ship, I would have to say abandon ship. Thank you, and have a good day.